66 million years ago, this creature was the apex of all life on Earth. The biggest teeth, the sharpest sense of smell, a brain built for one thing only, to kill. But almost everything you think you know about it is probably wrong. This is Tyrannosaurus rex, and we're only just beginning to understand it. Think about it. You've seen it hundreds of times in movies, books, museums. That image has been sitting in your head since childhood. A massive lizard, bare, scaly skin, a wide open jaw packed with teeth the size of bananas. It roars, and everyone runs. But what if I told you that almost every detail of that picture is wrong? That modern science has taken T-Rex apart bone by bone, literally, and what it found turned everything upside down. And there's a specific person and a specific year when that wrong picture became unstoppable. 1993. Steven Spielberg is making Jurassic Park and personally consulting with leading paleontologists. They explained to him that T-Rex most likely couldn't reach speeds above 20 kilometers an hour, that it may have had feathers, that its vision was far better than the movie would suggest. Spielberg listened to all of it and deliberately chose the opposite, because scarier sells, because spectacle wins. From that moment, 30+ years, billions of people have known a T-Rex that never existed. One director's choice defeated 30 years of paleontological discovery in the minds of an entire generation. Spielberg chose the show. Science chose the truth. And that truth is far more interesting than any movie. Let's start with the first question. First question. T-Rex, the most terrifying predator in the history of Earth. That's what everyone says. Movies, books, school textbooks. But scientists have been arguing about something else for decades. What if it didn't hunt at all? What if this so-called king of the dinosaurs simply ate whatever was already dead? Picture it, the most famous predator on the planet turns out to be just a cleaner, a scavenger, not a hunter. Whether that's actually true, we'll find out. Second question, look at its arms. Tiny, almost comical. Against a body weighing 8 tons, they look like a joke of nature. The most powerful predator on the planet, and those little toy arms that can't even reach its own mouth. Why didn't evolution just get rid of them entirely? Millions of years, and it couldn't shake 2 small stumps, or maybe it didn't want to, because they were needed. What for? The answer will surprise you. Third question, what did it actually look like? Not in Jurassic Park, in reality. Because the latest discoveries say that what we've been drawing in textbooks for decades is almost a caricature of the real T-Rex. Different skin, different color, different sound, even a different face. What you're picturing right now and what actually existed are almost 2 completely different creatures. Fourth question, could it run? Seems obvious. Massive predator, long, powerful legs, chasing down prey. That's how every movie shows it. But the real science gives an answer that breaks half of Hollywood's greatest scenes. And if that answer is right, how did it catch anything at all? Now, before the fifth question, one number that changes everything you think you know about how well we actually understand this animal.
In 2021, scientists at the University of California calculated how many T-Rex individuals ever existed across the entire lifespan of the species. The answer, roughly 2.5 billion individuals over 2.5 million years. But at any one time, there were at most 20,000 alive simultaneously. On the entire planet, that's less than the population of a small town. The absolute king of the Earth, and there were catastrophically few of them. Now the next number. We have found the remains of roughly 50 complete or partial skeletons. Out of 2.5 billion, 50. That's like if 66 million years from now, only 2 people survived from all of humanity, and scientists tried to understand how we lived based on just those 2. Everything we know about T-Rex, we know from 50 skeletons. And yet, there is one question whose answer is genuinely terrifying. 5th question. It sounds simpler than it is, but the answer flips everything. What happened if T-Rex fell? Biomechanical studies show that a fall at full walking speed would have hit T-Rex with an impact equivalent to a car crash at 30 kilometers an hour. A skull weighing 600 kilograms flying toward the ground with no way to break the fall with its arms. Scientists have found T-Rex skeletons with fractures to the facial bones, the kind caused specifically by falling forward. Some individuals survived injuries like that, the bones healed over, but many didn't. 8 tons, 2 meters of height to the hip, no arms to catch yourself. One careless step and the most terrifying predator on the planet is lying on the ground with a shattered skull. The most terrifying predator on the planet. One step, and that's it. All 5 of these questions have answers, scientific ones, proven ones, and every single answer changes the way you picture this animal. But to understand them, we first need to meet T-Rex properly. Not the one from the movies, the one that actually existed. Let's begin. Let's start with the sharpest debate in paleontology over the last 30 years. Jack Horner, one of the most famous paleontologists in the world, the man who served as scientific consultant on Jurassic Park, spent years publicly arguing that T-Rex was a scavenger. And his arguments were convincing enough to split the scientific community into 2 camps. Here's what he said. First, the eyes. The eyes of T-Rex pointed more to the sides than forward. In true predators, lions, eagles, wolves, the eyes point forward. That gives you stereoscopic vision, depth perception, precision when attacking. T-Rex didn't have that, or had far less of it. Why would a predator need eyes like that? Second, the legs. For a body weighing 8 tons, the legs of T-Rex were relatively short. Real pursuit predators are long-legged, fast, and built for endurance. T-Rex didn't fit that picture. Third, the sense of smell. The part of the brain responsible for detecting scent in T-Rex was disproportionately enormous. Carrion smells strong and from a long distance. Why would you need a nose like that if you're hunting living prey? The argument seemed airtight, and then one bone changed everything. Among the remains of hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs, there is a tailbone with clear T-Rex bite marks on it. But it's not the marks themselves that matter. What matters is what's around them. New bone tissue. The wound was healing. The victim survived the attack and walked around with those scars for at least several months. Somewhere in a Cretaceous forest, a dinosaur was walking around with wounds from T-Rex. It remembered that day. And T-Rex, somewhere nearby, did too. Scavengers don't bite living animals. That's a fundamental fact. If the victim survived the bite, there was an attack. There was a hunt. The victim survived. But that meant only one thing. T-Rex hunted. Actively. Deliberately. The second blow to Horner's theory, stereoscopic vision. More detailed studies of T-Rex skulls showed its vision was better than previously thought. The angle of stereoscopic vision, around 55 degrees. That's wider than a modern hawk, and nobody calls a hawk a scavenger. The third blow, comparison with modern animals. Hyenas. That's what a real scavenger looks like. And hyenas also have a powerful sense of smell. But hyenas also hunt, actively and successfully. A strong nose isn't a sign of a scavenger, it's the sign of a versatile predator. Today, science gives a clear answer. T-Rex was an opportunistic predator. Like a lion on the African savanna, it hunted when it could and ate carrion when the opportunity was there. Both options, depending on the situation. And that makes it even more terrifying, because it was never hungry for long and never predictable. This mystery has kept scientists up at night for over 100 years, and there's still no complete answer. But what we do have is already fascinating. Let's start with the facts. T-Rex arms had 2 fingers, length about half a meter. Against a body weighing 8 tons and stretching 12 meters long, they look like a design flaw. But here's what matters. Each arm could hold a load of up to 200 kilograms. These are not weak limbs, not even close. They're just very short. The shoulder and forearm muscles of T-Rex were massive, well developed. Evolution didn't atrophy them, it kept them powerful. The question is why? First theory, getting up from the ground. Picture 8 tons lying on its side or belly. Without arms, getting up is nearly impossible. Short but powerful arms could serve as a leverage point, push into the ground and give the body a boost, like crutches, invisible but critical. Second theory, holding prey during a bite. While the jaws were closing, prey could twist and fight back. Short, powerful arms pinned the victim against the body, stopped it from turning, turned the bite into a death sentence. Third theory, mating. During reproduction in large animals, holding a partner is critically important. Short, powerful arms may have done exactly that. And finally, the newest and boldest theory, published in 2022. Scientist Kevin Padian proposed an idea that sounds strange at first, but the more you think about it, the more sense it makes. Picture several T-Rex feeding on one large carcass at the same time, heads close together, jaws working, everyone pulling their share. And in that situation, a neighbor's long arm becomes a hazard. One careless movement, an accidental bite from the animal eating right next to you, a lost limb during a shared meal.
Evolution solved that problem decisively. It removed the risk, made the arms shorter so the species survived group feeding better. Not weakness, not a mistake, a social adaptation. None of these theories is proven 100%. But all of them say the same thing. The small arms are not nature's joke. They're a decision, an adaptation, and behind that decision, millions of years of selection. Forget Jurassic Park. Seriously. What they showed there is a science fiction version of an animal that looked completely different. And there's one person without whom we'd still be drawing a lizard. Robert Bakker, a paleontologist who as far back as the 1960s began arguing that dinosaurs were warm-blooded, active animals rather than slow, cold-blooded reptiles. The scientific community laughed at him. For decades, his theory was considered fringe. In 1986, he wrote a book and called it The Dinosaur Heresies because he knew exactly how people saw him. Today, his position is scientific consensus. Warm-bloodedness in dinosaurs has been confirmed through isotopic analysis of bones. He waited 30 years. Science caught up. And what it found about how T-Rex actually looked, he would have appreciated. Let's start with the biggest discovery: feathers. In 2012, fossilized remains of Yutyrannus huali were found in China, a close relative of T-Rex. And in the impressions, clear traces of feather covering, up to 20 centimeters long. This isn't speculation, it's fossilized reality. Yutyrannus belonged to the same family of tyrannosaurs, and if it had feathers, juvenile T-Rex had them too. Adult individuals, possibly partially, on the head, neck, along the back. Why not fully covered? Physics. 8 tons is a colossal mass. Large animals overheat, which is why elephants are nearly hairless, rhinos too. A full feather coat on an adult T-Rex could have been lethal overheating, but partial coverage entirely realistic. Now, the face. In 2023, a study came out that overturned our understanding of the T-Rex mouth. Scientists compared the jaw structure of T-Rex with modern lizards and crocodiles. The conclusion? T-Rex teeth were most likely covered by lips. Soft lips, like a monitor lizard or an iguana, not jutting out like the Terminator. Lips protect teeth from drying out. They preserve hardness. Crocodiles, the only large reptiles without lips, have teeth that wear down significantly faster. Nature gave T-Rex protection for its primary weapon: color. There's no complete answer here, and there never can be. But studies of cell structures in related species suggest dinosaurs may have had complex coloration, camouflage, or the opposite, bright colors for communication between individuals, like modern birds. And that's not a random comparison. Birds are dinosaurs, not a metaphor. Literally, birds are living dinosaurs, direct descendants of theropods, the very group T-Rex belonged to. And that changes how you look at birds every single day. A 2023 study showed that crows and ravens have cognitive abilities comparable to primates: planning, facial recognition, tool use.
If that cognitive line runs back through theropods, T-Rex may have been far more intelligent than we ever imagined. The next time a crow looks at you and doesn't fly away, it's sizing you up, exactly the way T-Rex did. A relative of T-Rex is watching you every morning, and if it inherited even a fraction of that intelligence, it's making a judgment. And finally, sound. T-Rex roars in the movies, loud, piercing, but birds don't roar, they have a different throat anatomy. If T-Rex was closer to birds than to crocodiles, it may have produced completely different sounds. A deep hum, a low, closed-mouth rumble, like a modern cassowary or a crocodile during mating season. Not a piercing shriek, but a vibration you feel through your entire body. The real T-Rex, partially covered in feathers, with lips hiding its teeth, probably more colorful than you imagined, and sounding nothing like the movies. A different creature, but no less extraordinary for it. This question has destroyed more than one Hollywood screenplay, and the answer is one of the most counterintuitive in all of paleontology. T-Rex could not run. Not in the classic sense of running, where both feet leave the ground at the same time. Biomechanical calculations by a team of scientists at the University of Manchester showed it unambiguously. If T-Rex attempted to break into a run, the leg bones would not have held the weight of its own body. 8 tons on 2 legs, that's physics you can't argue with.
Maximum comfortable speed, somewhere between 17 and 20 kilometers an hour. A fast walk, not a run. But to understand what that actually means in practice, picture this. Usain Bolt at his peak hits 44 kilometers an hour, but only for 100 meters. An elephant, the largest land animal alive today, also technically doesn't run. It power walks. It reaches up to 25 kilometers an hour, and it can hold that speed for hours. Give it a kilometer and the elephant overtakes Bolt and keeps going. T-Rex was the elephant of predators, not a sprinter, a marathon runner with the mass of a tank. And you couldn't outrun it even by sprinting. It would catch you just by walking. But if it couldn't run, how did it hunt large dinosaurs? The answer is simple. Its prey wasn't exactly Olympic-level athletes either. Hadrosaurs weighed 3 to 4 tons, Triceratops up to 9 tons, Ankylosaurs, armored walking tanks. None of these animals were fast. T-Rex didn't need speed, it needed endurance and power. Follow the prey, wear it down, wait for the right moment. And one more fact that puts everything in place. The stride of T-Rex at a normal walking pace was 3 to 4 meters. 1 step, 4 meters. To cover 100 meters, it needed 25 steps. Unhurried, certain. The king doesn't chase, the king walks, and the prey finds itself within reach. And here we arrive at the question that sounds almost funny at first, but in reality, it's a question about the survival of the most terrifying predator on the planet. But before we get there, there's a moment nobody talks about. There was a specific day, 66 million years ago, when the last T-Rex on Earth died. Not from the asteroid directly, the impact came earlier, from hunger, cold, or disease that followed. That last T-Rex didn't know it was the last. It simply lived, walking, searching for food that was becoming scarcer, breathing air that was growing colder. And at some point, it lay down and didn't get up. Where exactly, we don't know. Its bones are still somewhere in the ground, unfound, or turned to dust millions of years ago. That last T-Rex lay down and didn't get up, possibly because of exactly what we're about to talk about. What happened if T-Rex fell? Picture it, 8 tons, the center of mass about 2 meters off the ground, a fall, the earth, and no arms to catch itself, no way to absorb the impact. Studies by biomechanics researchers showed that a fall was extraordinarily dangerous for T-Rex. The impact of an 8-ton body hitting the ground from 2 meters could fracture ribs, collarbones, even the skull if the head struck the earth. Scientists have found T-Rex skeletons with fractures to the facial bones, the kind caused specifically by falling forward. Some individuals survived injuries like that, the bones healed over, but many didn't.
which is why some scientists believe T-Rex moved with extraordinary caution, didn't take risks, didn't make sharp movements on uneven ground. For an animal like this, caution wasn't weakness, it was a survival requirement. And now, the most interesting part. Could it get back up after a fall? This is where those small arms appear again. If the getting up theory is correct, they weren't just useful, they were critical. Without them, a fallen T-Rex could find itself trapped by its own body. But there's another view. Scientists who have studied large dinosaur skeletons point out that the powerful muscles of the hind legs and tail may have allowed T-Rex to roll over and rise even without arm support, slowly, with effort. But still, no direct evidence exists either way. But what is known for certain, T-Rex evolved in a way that minimized the risk of falling. Wide leg placement, a heavy tail as a counterbalance, a lower center of mass relative to its body size. Nature knew what it was doing. It was building a machine that was never supposed to fall, because the price of falling could be too high even for a king.
66 million years ago, the greatest catastrophe in the history of life on Earth in the last 500 million years took place. And T-Rex, with all its strength, all its smell and teeth and endurance, had absolutely no chance. But let's not start with the impact. Let's start with the moment before it, because that's the most terrifying part. Somewhere in a Cretaceous forest in North America, T-Rex is living an ordinary day, walking, breathing warm, humid air, possibly searching for food. Nothing unusual, nothing to warn it about what's coming. 70 seconds before impact, an asteroid 10 kilometers across enters the atmosphere. T-Rex, thousands of kilometers from the epicenter, sees nothing, hears nothing. 2.5 million years of evolution, absolute perfection, and 70 seconds without warning. And then, everything changed forever. The asteroid hit the area of what is now the Yucatan Peninsula, the Chicxulub crater, roughly 180 kilometers across. The impact released energy billions of times greater than the most powerful nuclear bomb humanity has ever built. In the first hours, tsunamis hundreds of meters tall, earthquakes, fires from superheated rock raining back down from the sky across the entire planet. But even that wasn't the main killer. The main killer was darkness. Billions of tons of dust and soot rose into the atmosphere and blocked the sun. The first 3 months, near total darkness. Temperatures dropped 15 to 20 degrees across the entire planet. Photosynthesis stopped. Plants began to die. But the darkness was only the first blow. The second came when it ended. As the dust began to settle and the sun returned, CO2 from the fires and volcanoes remained in the atmosphere. Warming began. The planet first froze, then overheated. 2 opposite catastrophes back to back. T-Rex had adapted to one climate over millions of years and couldn't adjust to 2 opposing disasters within a matter of years. Herbivorous dinosaurs that ate plants began to starve, then to die. And when the prey disappeared, the predators began to die too. And we know what that end looked like. Not from movies, from bones. In the Hell Creek Formation in Montana, T-Rex remains have been found from the geological layer of the final millennia before extinction. The bone tissue is thinner than in healthy individuals, signs of prolonged starvation. And on some bones, bite marks from other T-Rex. They were eating each other. The king of the dinosaurs, at the end, was eating its own kind. T-Rex didn't burn, it didn't drown, it died slowly from hunger, in a world that was growing darker and colder, then overheating. And at some point, it lay down and didn't get up. The king ate its own and still didn't survive. Around 75% of all species on Earth were wiped out. Not just dinosaurs, marine reptiles, flying pterosaurs, countless species of plants and insects. But not everything. 75% of all life was gone. But here's a question nobody asks. Who survived and how? Among the dinosaurs that made it through the extinction were small, feathered theropods, the direct ancestors of modern birds. Scientists have a theory about why exactly them. Small body size meant less food needed to survive. Feathers provided insulation during the cold years. The ability to eat seeds, which keep for a long time, gave access to food when plants were gone. They weren't the strongest. They weren't the largest. They were the most flexible. And 66 million years later, their descendants, over 10,000 species, outnumber any other group of land vertebrates on the planet. The small ones outlasted the large ones and became the most successful group of animals in the history of Earth. Here's what most people don't realize. T-Rex didn't just go extinct and disappear. It left ears. And you see them every single day. Birds are not relatives of dinosaurs. Birds are dinosaurs. Not a metaphor, not poetic exaggeration. It's a taxonomic fact accepted by the entire modern scientific community. Birds are the only dinosaur lineage that survived the extinction. When you look at a crow, you're looking at an animal from the same evolutionary branch as T-Rex. When an ostrich runs, it moves the way the ancestors of tyrannosaurs moved. When an eagle dives on prey, that's the same predatory precision honed by hundreds of millions of years of evolution.
66 million years later, the king is alive. In a different form, with wings instead of arms, with feathers instead of scales, but alive. We answered 5 questions, but all of them are really about one thing. What makes something truly irreplaceable? Predator or scavenger? Both. It wasn't principled, it was an opportunist, taking every opening the environment offered. Not a mindless killing machine, a flexible survival strategist. The small arms? An evolutionary decision. Powerful but short, to get up from the ground, hold prey in place, and not lose a limb during group feeding. Not a weakness, a tool built for a specific job. What did it look like? Nothing like the movies, partially covered in feathers, with lips hiding its teeth. Probably more colorful than you'd expect, and it sounded like a deep vibration that passes through your entire body, not a piercing shriek. Nature doesn't add things without reason. Every detail is a function. Could it run? No, but you couldn't outrun it even sprinting. It wasn't built for speed, it was built for endurance. Strategy over burst. A marathon runner with the mass of a tank. What happened if it fell? Catastrophe. Which is why nature built T-Rex so it wouldn't fall. And if it did, those short, powerful arms may have been its last chance to get back up. Caution as necessity, not weakness, calculation. T-Rex wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest, it was the most perfectly suited to its world. Opportunism, endurance, efficiency, caution, flexibility. That's not a list of a dinosaur's traits. That's a list of what works, regardless of the era. When the world changed, it left behind those who fit the new one. The small ones, the feathered ones, the flexible ones, and they're still here. We tend to think of T-Rex as a symbol of power that's gone, of a greatness that was erased by an asteroid and will never come back. But look out the window. If there are birds out there, the king is still with you. Changed, small, winged, but the same. 66 million years. An asteroid, darkness, cold, hunger, cannibalism just to survive, the extinction of 3/4 of everything alive on the planet, and still it survived. Maybe that's why we can't stop thinking about it, because somewhere deep down we sense this isn't just a dinosaur from a textbook, it's a principle, the most resilient answer to the harshest question nature has ever asked of the living. How do you survive when the world changes faster than you can adapt? You become something else, but you stay yourself. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king, then, now, always.